Okay, I think we're ready to get started. Okay, welcome to Everything in Oracle AI Part 2. I'm Lillian Buziak, and I'm here with Edward Roski. Today, we're completing our Oracle AI journey by diving into the three services we didn't have time for in Part 1. In our first session, we explored the embedded AI features across Oracle's application suite, from predictive analytics and ERP to AI-powered hiring and HCM, and we demonstrated Oracle Database 23 AI's select capabilities. We also walked through several OCI AI services, including GenAI with hosted models, digital assistants, language services, vision services, and part of speech AI, all running on Oracle's infrastructure. So for those who couldn't join us for part one, we'll share the recording link in addition to today's recording after this session. So first, we'll begin by finishing up with the speech AI demo. And then we'll follow up with showing you generative AI agents, which goes beyond basic chatbots. So we'll explore AI Agent Studio and see how to build autonomous agents that can execute complex workflows and actually take actions across your systems. Following that, we'll explore OCI data science, where you can build, train, and deploy custom models without ever leaving the Oracle ecosystems. It's going to be good for those who are industry specific and have use cases that off-the-shelf models can't handle. And then finally, we'll cover document understanding, and we'll demonstrate how to extract structured data from all of those PDFs, forms, and contracts sitting on your shelves. So say goodbye to manual data entry. And then we'll wrap up with a live Q&A, so you can ask any questions you have about Oracle AI, everything from features, functionalities to implementation. So start gathering your questions and put them in the chat. So I'm going to pass this over to Edward, and let's jump right in.
Awesome. Thank you, Lillian. That was great. Next time I will let you do the whole thing, and I'll just show up, I don't know, wave at everybody. So I covered, as Lillian said, some of these aspects last week. If you put together part one with part two, you will indeed get the everything that was promised by the webinar title. But Oracle really has too much AI to fit into 60 minutes. So what we're going to cover today are 3.5 of the services that we missed last time. So we covered infrastructure, as Lillian said, we covered the database. We're going to cover 3.5 of the services and one of the models, which is basically the data science portion. There is so much that even getting it done in 90 minutes is kind of tight, but the AI services, just as a quick recap of what we covered last time, the generative AI service is really the equivalent of what you would see in a chatbot type interface, any type of text generation, summarization, chat, that sort of thing. We are going to cover the generative AI agents today and how they differ in some ways from some of the agents you talked about. I am a data scientist and really excited that Lillian scheduled this second half hour so I get to cover the data science side. But all of the services, if you look at them in total, it's enough to build any application you could conceive of in the world of AI. And these are only the biggest highlights. So if there's something that you go, wow, I'd really like to create this using Oracle AI because we trust Oracle, they're safe, they're secure, they're stable, I'd really like to do more with it. I can't figure out how. The answer is probably either in one of these services, some combination of them, or it's already built in to a product. So you can just go ahead and use the software that Oracle makes and provides it. And there are some cases where you will need to combine them, where it's built into a product, but maybe you want to enhance it with, say, a speech-driven front end. So I don't know, maybe you're looking at narrative reporting in Oracle EPM, and you love how it's able to do text analysis of your data and come up with some footnotes, but then you want to report those out through a digital assistant, or you want to convert that response to 10 different languages and have it say it out loud. You could actually combine the AI services in Oracle Cloud with the AI services that are available in your front-end technologies. So we covered this one at a high level last time. So as a reminder, Oracle Speech will let you do anything from transcribing speech to text to synthesizing speech from text. It will apply automatic speech recognition technology. It transforms any audio-based content that you've got in real time, or you can do it batch. So maybe you have a bunch of videos that you've recorded, or a bunch of recordings of various meetings, you want to transcribe it down, you can do that as well. It's actually a technology that is not part of the generative side. This is a neural networking technology Oracle's worked on for a while. And it's also able to convert the speech down to the text. On the text to speech, it's actually doing a neural network combined with generative AI to get this natural, really natural sounding voice on the text input. You can call this through the API. It's got nice REST APIs that you can connect with. It also has, SDKs if you want to call it from Python or Java or something. It's got command line interfaces. You could even use OCI speech in a data science notebook session if you want. It even gives you power to do things like filter profanities, get confidence scores, not just for single words, but for the whole complete transcript and a whole lot more. It's one of my favorite tools because I love how you can include it in enterprise applications without having to go out and, I don't know, drop somebody's recording tool into a Zoom or something like that. If you want to see more about it, you can either talk to Lillian. You can also go to oracle.com/artificial-intelligence/speech. But fundamentally remember this, speech is STT, speech to text, or TTS, text to speech. It is designed to be integrated into any tool, any solution, any workflow that you've got, and it is really fast. It is extremely clean, it's extremely accurate, and your data doesn't leave your secure Oracle cloud. It's not being sent up to, I don't know, Zoom or something else, or some third-party product being transcribed. It's being done completely within that Oracle ecosystem. So how does this actually look like? Well, I've got a recording, and I'm going to go ahead and play my nice video file or audio file. So I'm going to click on OCI speech. I can do it live. In this case, I'm going to upload a file. There's my Q4 earnings report. Perfect. I'm going to process it. It's going to do some audio analysis, figure out how many speakers I have. It's going to take a transcription. I'm actually going to do some AI on top of it, maybe do some generative AI. So in my case, if you'll see it, I'm 95% confident that we've signed a stock purchase agreement, and I'm 98% confident we've done something else, 89% confident that we concluded with an obtaining shareholder approval. It figured out who the speakers actually are. Maybe they identified themselves and it was able to line that up with various recordings. I can click on that. It'll take me right to that note. And then I added some generative AI on top of it so I can do summaries. I can pull out key metrics from the call as well. And this, the entire meeting, I think was a 30-minute long meeting. Yeah, I'm somewhere in the realm of that. 45, but it was able to do it in just a matter of seconds. And we put this demo together just to show you how OCI speech work. And I think it took us about an hour to put this whole thing together. In terms of actual production, you can make this part of your workflow. So it automatically feeds audio files. Maybe it does automatic transcriptions of all of your meetings. Anytime you want to go speech to text, this is your tool. And as I said, it goes the other way around as well. So any type of audio generation uses the exact same product. One final note about this one, if you caught it, the entire recording was actually done in Spanish, but because it knows I am an English speaker, mi español no es muy bueno, it does all of the summary entirely in English for me. So it's doing translation as well. So let's pivot to something we didn't get a chance to talk about last time, other than I think one bullet point, and that is document understanding. Document understanding was originally part of OCI Vision, and they found it was enough of a structured application, they spun it off so you could call it more directly. And what it does is it looks at things that are in a standard format, like a cash register receipt, an invoice, a set of contract terms, a bill of lading, and it's able to look at that and extract key text, key tables, any other key data from those document files. And again, you can do it through the APIs. You can make it part of your workflow interface. You can do it through Oracle AI Agent Studio. You can do command line interface tools with it. It lets you do any sort of tedious business processing where there is a form that you're regularly looking at. So it's actually using vision to do this, but it goes beyond it because it's able to do the vision side and then say, oh, this is an invoice. There are some key things that I understand. Well, because I've recognized that it is an invoice, I know that probably in the top left is who it's being billed to. Probably in the top right is who it's being billed from. I can pull the company name. Under the section called PO number, there's probably a purchase order number. I can look at the various terms, how many of each individual line item, and I can put those all into various fields that you could then grab and use later. So maybe once I've identified the company, well, now I can determine what type of invoice this is. I can determine who needs to approve it, and I can send it across. So it is really easy to deploy. It's got REST APIs, it's got Java and Python SDKs. You can even make it part of a scalable service because nobody using this has to know how to do vision. They just plug in document understanding and then it figures it out. It also is built for security and privacy. If, for instance, maybe this was a social security form or a W-2, a W-9, some sort of internal form where it was giving maybe personal information like social security numbers. It actually knows what to hide so that nobody can see that directly. It knows what information frankly shouldn't have been loaded into the system. So if somebody gave us something that was way too much personal information, it knows to go off and hide it. It will also mask any information when you're training, mask any information you're debugging, and you can say, mask in all cases a social security number until we are in production, and then we build in the automated feeds. But it can do scanned documents, it can do mobile uploads, it can do PDFs, you name it. It's extremely easy to use. It will also, if you look at that quantity example down there, it does know the concepts of tables, it knows key fields, it knows relationships. So for instance, it can say, oh, this is the merchant name. Well, based on that merchant name, I know that it matches up with this merchant ID. So it can do key value pairs within your system. You can even do things like have it analyze an invoice and say, is my tax rate being charged correctly? Some of the use cases I've seen already, you can have it classify the docs when they come in. So it says, oh, it's an invoice, process it this way. Is it a receipt? Well, now I need to match the receipt up with maybe my expense reporting system. I've seen it used for resumes. Go ahead and pull all the key information off them. Probably the number one right now it's being used for is expense processing because everybody in the company is generating receipts. I've also seen it used a lot for enhanced search and retrieval of documents. But any of that type of categorization, it'll figure it out because it knows the general concept of what that thing needs to look like. So in my case, I've got a receipt. Oh, by the way, it will tell you if it's not 100% positive. So maybe it's trying to find individual line items and move them across, and it's never seen anything like that before. It'll make a guess, and you can approve it or not. So in my case, I'm going to go ahead and launch my great new document understanding application. Capris was nice enough to create for me. So OCI document understanding. I told it, allow that we're probably doing a receipt and invoice or a form. I didn't tell it what. It figured out that this is a Walmart receipt. I'm going to tell it to analyze. Ah, perfect. Here's the store name, the store number where he bought it. Here's the cashier he bought it from, the subtotal, the tax, the total amount. Here's how he paid it, masking the credit card number, so only the last four numbers. It says, okay, various things look like we're cooking something for the company. So these are all meal related. The only thing it wasn't sure on is office supplies. It probably said Edward's not buying a 5 pound bag of a 5 pound bag of rice to cook for a one-time meal. It's probably something that's going to go supply an office or something like that. And if I was happy with it, I could submit it all the way across to my Oracle expense processing system, or I could feed it anywhere else that I wanted to. But everything I did, it also matched up and it said, I'm pretty confident on these items. It does match the policy for buying that particular type of item and go ahead and send it across. And it gets smarter over time. So maybe if I said, no, rice actually in this case does need to go to a meal account or it needs to go to kitchen supplies. Once I do it, it knows it from that point onward and go ahead and do all the analysis. Let's talk about AI agents. Agents have been recently in the news the last few weeks, we've already had some agents from companies like Manus. You have some manual agents from N8N and Zapier. You had some starter project agents from OpenAI and Anthropic, but OpenAI did launch their agent mode last week. I spent a large portion of this weekend playing with it. A generative AI agent is anytime you want it to take an action and not just answer a question. But Oracle's generative AI agents add some power beyond that as well. So there is an agent studio that we could go into and talk about. But what I'm going to talk about here are some of the agents where it's able to take your request and add additional data to it, for example. This is quite often called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, and it makes sure that your enterprise data is all the way up to date. So it's not generative AI since your last training date, but it's updated with any current information. And also you have zero hallucinations. So, and it can also look across various different knowledge bases. So as you can say, for instance, maybe your customer support representative is asking a question internally. You want it to go grab the relevant article and attach it coming across. So the normal way an AI agent works is that you give an instruction in natural language. The LLM will analyze that conversation and generally break your plan across into multiple steps. And then the agent figures out which tool to use for each step, and then each step kind of feeds it back into the agent to replan, to continue the process, to generate the response, to request customer input. This is how the general concept of how agents work. And when you use Oracle's AI Agent Studio, which kind of extrapolated layer, kind of almost fits in the app layer of Oracle, this is a lot of what it does. But its generative AI Agent Studio was designed to talk about how I can combine an LLM with retrieval augmented generation to give you all the information or pass it on to the next step so that it can take an action without really needing a human involved and having to go casually look something up. So for instance, maybe I want to see I've got an account and I say, what are the transactions that make up that account? Well, you want it to behind the scenes, go write a query, pull the response, do some retrieval augmented generation, give you the answers back. It's exactly how generative AI agents work. Benefits of it, you can actually have a conversation directly with your knowledge base. So you're essentially giving a conversational interface, but that it knows when to go talk to various other data sources. It's going to give you current results. They're not aging based on your training data set. You can embed these. So you can put them as part of your enterprise business application, your enterprise process, your enterprise workflow, and then they're also scalable. You can do things like a vector search that we talked about last week. So sounds like a fun theoretical idea. Does it actually work? Well, thank you to Capris. They put it together a nice example of using it for me. So I'm going to go down here and click on OCI Generative AI Agents. I have a few, a financial close automation agent, financial reporting automation agent. So in this case, I actually wanted to complete some tasks. I wanted to go off into Oracle ERP Cloud, pull some data across. Then I wanted to go do some things over in the Oracle EPM side. So now it's doing account reconciliation. I'm doing some calls over there as well. Then it's going to go talk to some journals, make sure the data ties up correctly. So it's going to do a journal pull. Then I wanted to go talk to OAC, Oracle Analytics Cloud, and see how that data works. Sadly, one of our divisions, probably in Brazil, is still using HFM. So we're going to go do some effort over there. Oh, it's Japan. But it's doing some elimination, some things down in the Japan side. But then we're going to pull it up into the cloud because that's where we all should be. We're going to do some Oracle EPM Cloud reporting. Then we're going to do some data integration to be pulling it across. And now we are complete. And it was able to do all of those activities orchestrated within that Oracle Agent Studio. So I'm able to talk to everything. I could also want to do some financial reporting, so it can basically pull an answer back with chat and then attach that other data to it. I could maybe get some data ready for my auditors. It gives me a nice little history. It basically did my entire close process in, I don't know, less than 10 minutes, essentially. And it was able to pull all the data to make sure I didn't miss any steps. All of that is synchronizable with generative AI agents. Now, I know this is a humble brag. I am actually a data scientist. I have a master's degree in data science, and you spend a whole lot of time when you're in data science figuring out how to go through the data science steps. Well, What if A, didn't have a data scientist? We are very, very rare. Or B, you have one and they don't want to have to do all those manual steps. Well, OCI data science is designed to speed you through the data science process. So it helps you build a machine learning neural network model. It helps you deploy it. It helps you manage maybe custom LLMs that you've got because you want to fine tune them. Maybe you want to figure out how to use, I don't know, Hugging Face. You can do Transformers or PyTorch. Maybe you want to pull in models from Meta or Mistral or Grok. All of those are available to you. So basically, it's everything that a high-priced, and deservedly so, data scientist needs to do their job. So this job it normally involves lots and lots of machine learning. I spent half of my data science master's program learning how to do all these things that are now essentially data scientist in a box. So building a model is normally an iterative process. You're normally going around and around, and you repeat these steps and you modify them. In some cases, you're doing it to make the model more accurate, better at predicting. Some cases, you're doing it just to speed the process up. But you're also doing exploration and data visualization and data experimentation. And this service will walk you through and do all those steps of that entire full machine learning life cycle. You do need to go in and kind of prepare your OCI environment and workspace to tell it, here's my data I want to access. I now want to turn this service on, but then it will help you access and collect that data. It will help you prepare and explore through that data. It'll help you train it, evaluate and validate that model, deploy it, and then manage it. How many people are using it? Who's accessing this model? Is there an improved version of it that I need to do? So the number one thing that far too many data scientists spend their time on is data preparation. And data preparation is really about getting access to your data. And the nice thing about Oracle Data Science, it can access any data source in the cloud, and it can also connect to anything you have on-prem. It can load up any type of data file you can imagine. Maybe we're pulling it in through Oracle Integration Cloud, or maybe we're doing exports or something. We can talk to everything. So it's flexible data access. It lets us build a model and then train that model so that we can fine tune it. Maybe we want a large language model, something like Meta's Llama model. We want to create our own ChatGPT, but we don't want it talking like we're a generic average random person using ChatGPT. We want it using our terminology. You can actually train the model to talk the way you want to talk. You have full governance capabilities in it. You can determine which models you actually have up and running. You can keep your old models. Maybe they want to get audited. You can capture your metadata. They're all reproducible. It tracks all of your versions. It manages your model deployment and then manages all of your pipelines. It keeps track. Are the models up? Maybe we've drifted. Maybe that model was great and now it's not as reliable as it used to be. It'll keep track of all of that. It also has a lot of quick actions we can do without a single line of code. So half of my data science career was figuring out how to do a lot of data collection and cleansing. The other half of my data science career was figuring out how to do a lot of Python coding to write, or R or SAS, to go write those models. But now we have no code access to any of those models we want to go pull in. You can even tie in a lot of modern libraries and a lot of modern packages are out there. And at the very end, there's even an evaluate function. So through quick actions, I can deploy, I can click fine tune, I can click evaluate. It'll give me all kinds of wonderful scores and let me know how it worked. So I'm going to go ahead and actually run a little model over here through OCI Data Science, my nice end-to-end machine learning platform. So I'm going to do a cash flow prediction. We actually did this for a customer recently. So we're going to do some data collection. It's going to go off and grab a bunch of information. It's going to process it. Going to do some feature engineering to add some additional fields to it. We're going to train the model. That's the longest part of the step. Validate it. How does it work based on history? Did it work really well? Tune some hyperparameters, make sure it's as good as possible. And now I'm finally complete. And I don't know, maybe that took 10 seconds. It lets me know how accurate my model was, 96.8. That's close enough for statistical work. I predicted, notice my first month, I predicted 1.25 historically. It generated 1.23. Based on this and all my data coming in, it can figure out month by month what those future predictions are going to look like. And if I love it, I can click on the AI quick action for deploy and it'll push it all the way out. I could even export my model. Maybe I wanted to pull it into Oracle Analytics or something else. There's a standard format for machine learning models. You can export it. I can even see what it's doing behind the scenes across all those different steps to get it fully optimized. But in a matter of seconds, I built a fairly straightforward week by week forecasting application. Now, for anybody that's going, does that mean I can deploy forecasting in a matter of seconds? There, of course, is work behind the scenes. I had to standardize my data. There was some cleansing activities that happened. And then I had to determine which type of model I want to use. So this is a whole lot easier if you actually have a data scientist focusing on it, who can do fun things like explain what your root mean square error actually is, your RMSE. So I know this was a ton of information. We almost got to it last time, but thankfully we had 25 more minutes to cover it this time. And with this, we are going to open it up for questions. But I will tell you, we do have a few more webinars coming up. We're doing them roughly every 2 weeks. This is based on questions I received and asked back and forth of conversations during the Asking Questions podcast. So the very first one, send your CFO. It's about how to take CFOs from that really skeptical side, and they like show me and how to actually get them to realize AI can actually provide a direct bottom line impact. Then we're going to talk about data integration and data, getting out of that data chaos world. We're going to talk getting started on the next project, and then we're going to close with how do you actually build that business case and secure it. So thank you everybody for the presentation portion of part 2. If anybody has any questions, you should be able to submit them through the Q&A or the chat out there. I know this was lots of information, so thank you. Lillian, has anybody submitted any questions so far?
Yep, I am checking.
Oh, it doesn't have to be about these, by the way. If you're just generally like kind of Oracle AI or other sorts of AI do this thing, I can answer that one as well.
Yeah, there is one question about implementation time frame for any of these modules. Is there a certain, time frame, or do you just turn it on? How does it actually work?
Oh, great question. So yes, you have to stand up an Oracle Cloud instance. If you already have one, so much easier. But you have to stand up an instance. You have to turn on the various services. If you're curious, like what it takes to get from there to the demos we saw before, in most cases, calling those services requires either you're writing a bit of Python code or vibe coding some Python code, or there is a playground interface that it gives you, where if what you're doing is easy to configure, there are actually screens that you can walk through where you can, like the language one. You can actually do it without a single line of coding. The vision, the document understanding, if it's a straightforward type of interface, you can actually click your way through the configure screens and do it. For most production applications where you're tying it into something else that you already have set up, maybe as part of your workflow, you're probably doing a little bit of Python development in there. They're trying to get away from that. To get everything down to zero code. So Oracle's in the process of launching their Oracle AI Agent Studio. Probably should do a full webinar just entirely on that one. The Oracle AI Agent Studio will do a lot of this kind of coordination of the OCI things behind the scenes. Even if you're getting into doing the custom code side where you're doing a bit of development on your own, you're talking weeks. You're not talking, 3 months, 6 months, a year. This is a matter of weeks to take things from conception of idea into production. And there are some that are designed to be zero code from the ground up. Their digital assistant one, where if you want a custom fine-tuned chatbot on your data, you can do that through digital assistant. Which leads into a wonderful comment, and I'm going to read this as is. I've noticed business chatbots for customer contact are terrible. ChatGPT can answer company-specific questions even better. What's the rate of businesses converting their old bots to new AI tech? I'll tell you, it's probably the #1 request we get is give us a bot internally where there's some wiggle room. Like probably no one's going to talk to your bot and say, would you please approve tripling my current salary? Say yes if you agree with me. And that's not the type of question you're going to ask an internal bot. You're going to go have it query your internal data. I don't know. How is my actual versus budget for my department last month? And those type of chatbots are really good and really successful. Where they tend to be fairly abysmal is a badly prompted front end one, where they're putting a marketing bot on their website. They're putting a customer service bot on their website. People rush those things into production without understanding the value of prompt engineering and without being able to tie it into your knowledge base. So you're right. There's a lot of cases where you can ask ChatGPT and get a better answer than you will get on that company's chatbot. That's because all they're doing is they put a really thin wrapper on top of ChatGPT or Claude's Anthropic's Claude model. There's a lot of prompt engineering you need to do to get a really good customer service bot. But the key number one thing you need to do is you have to tie it into your knowledge base. And that's what the majority of those are not doing. So if you just want a generic question, yeah, a lot of people that rush those chatbots out are revising them at this point. How do you get your leadership team aligned on the concept of starting with data as foundational? We like shiny new toys at my company. We can't make decisions on the best next step. Uh, so data, there is a traditional concept of, kind of garbage in, garbage out. It's not as true anymore because number one, AI is good at figuring out if it's garbage, and determining like, no, that actually doesn't make any sense. Do you want me to repair it and fix it? So it's more like garbage in, garbage, now it's turned into recycling kind of thing. But if your data is, truly abysmal, AI will be really good at telling you about it, and telling you, yeah, you need to go fix this foundational issue. However, AI is good with a bit of ambiguity, which traditional systems are not. So that whole thing about you must fix 100% of your data before you launch anything on top of it, that is a pre-AI concept. Because before the days of AI, you had to have everything exactly aligned, exactly formatted. It must tie between 100% of the systems because you were probably actually writing SQL behind the scenes to connect all the data across. And if anything wasn't perfect, the world went to hell in a handbasket. AI is much better at being close enough when it looks at your data and saying, okay, I looked at that and I kind of think I understand what you're talking about. Let me go join it to this other table, even if the names don't match up 100%, even if they match up 98%. I will tell you, you can't put a value on fast decisions. There is nothing more important to a company. And I would take a system coming back and saying, I'm 98% confident based on your data that this is the right recommendation. That is so much more valuable today than waiting a year and a half while you go fix that data and say, you know what you should have done a year and a half ago? Here's the answer to it. So my stance these days has actually changed. I used to be one of those fix all the data before you begin anything else, kind of thing. Where I am right now is put AI on top of what you have. It will give you an instant response so much better than you're getting right now. Let AI then tell you, I think it's not totally correct in these different areas, and then go fix it, but leave the AI in place while you actually have it. And I would tell you who answer those questions, but they submitted anonymously. I know we're 3 minutes over, but if anybody else has anything quickly they were curious about,
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't see any other questions. But if anyone has an idea or additional questions, please feel free to reach out to Edward or myself. This recording will be sent out to you within the next 24 hours. But thank you again for joining us and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome week.
Thank you. Bye bye.